Talk Live. I'm Ben Ferguson, and we have another edition. My commitment to you is to have a better show. Each show is going to be better than the last one, and I have done that again this time. Tomorrow morning, John Catadella will be back, and Monday morning we'll have Mayor-elect Randy Rouse. So that'll be about 9 a.m. I think for those of you who watch live. This is an interactive show, so if you see something you like or you have a question or comment, please in YouTube comment us, and we will talk to you live about it. So that's kind of interesting. Let me tell you about our guest today. Our guest is a returning guest. She was our very first show we had on our paranormal experience show. Her name is Briana Basulto. And after we had her on, there was something about her that everybody noticed, of something that was just genuine about her. And we've been talking about people lately, and I've been talking, I think I mentioned something about the frog pond. What I meant was when I saw a frog in a pond on my bike ride the other day, I noticed that the frog lived in that pond, and that's what his life was. And he saw the rock, and he saw the fish, and he saw the grass and the other frogs, and to him that's all that was there. And so I thought to myself, my frog pond is how I've been raised in my generation. And then when I met Briana, I saw her and I thought, I want to learn about her frog pond. So it's not going to be just about some guy in his 50s, about what I think is right and wrong, but it's going to be about, different points of view. And Briana, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, my pleasure. And we talked a little bit about paranormal activities before. And since then, I've seen, do you know who Sammy Hagar is? I don't expect you to. He sang for Van Halen. But if you guys out there want to look on Howard Stern show, Howard Stern's my competition. Howard Stern has a couple of clips with Sammy Hagar, and Sammy has a story where it was remember my story? I said when I was a kid, I was in high school, and telepathically something came to me and made me run upstairs and open a door, and there was a burning candle that was about ready to set the room on fire. Well, he mentions almost an identical story, and then he goes on to say a story about UFOs, and he woke up to a bright light. And the people, and he's a pretty distinguished man. He's somebody that you would believe. And then he also went on to say that at 4 in the morning, he heard a bang on the door, and he opened the door, and he saw his father was standing there drunk, and he was wondering, what the heck are you doing here at my door? Drunk, go home. And then 2 minutes later, somebody knocked on the door, and it was a man with a phone, handed it to him, and they just said his dad passed away, and his dad was 3 states away, so his dad came to visit him. So anyway, look that up on YouTube. It's an incredible story. And anyway, that's what got you here. And to think of somebody with an open mind and know that's the one thing I'll mention. For whatever reason I liked was when you told your mom that you wanted a snack for your imaginary friend, and your mom gave you a snack. And I thought that's what my mom would have done. Most people would have said, oh, just give them an imaginary snack or something like that. But the fact that she gave you another one, cool mom. Yeah, that's really cool. So we're talking about Generation X, and we're talking about millennials and boomers and all the different, we're kind of pigeonholing ourselves into different areas. I went online, and I don't want to be out of it. I kind of want to be, relevant. And a couple of things I've looked at. Now, this is funny because I read this. Millennials are often characterized as either impatient, thin-skinned. They expect everything instantaneous, gratification, rapid advancement for opportunities. And when I read that, that's exactly me. So I don't think it's just millennials. I think it's anybody. But I had an interesting thought. When I grew up, I've seen all the changes. I had a bike. We rode bikes every day. We had a Mattel football game, which was our first bit of technology. And so I've kind of morphed into all the technology, which I absolutely love. I think I was born in the best time in the history of the world because I've seen a lot of different things. You have pretty much spent all your life in all kinds of technology. So when I see changes, what do you? So when I was your age, I think it was like the Reagan era. I went out and anything was possible if you just go out and get it. What do you think about the economy? So I hear that the millennials think they don't really have a lot of respect for the government, and I can totally understand why. For the past few years, I mean, who would? And the police. What? How is your world? What do you feel like when you wake up in the morning? Do you have a future? Do you respect the government? What are your ideas?
Well, for me, it's kind of hard to answer. I'm kind of with like the government isn't really like there for the people, which is hard to understand or wrap my head around, because growing up it's like, oh, there's supposed to support the community, but sometimes like they do things that is like doesn't make sense. Um,
Are you talking about local government or are you talking about national?
I think, yeah, like national, like in general, like.
When I grew up, I had, we had presidents like Ford and Carter and Reagan, and those people, everybody kind of hung their hat and knew that they were doing a good job. But now this whole Biden thing, I mean, it's kind of like you don't have to be an intelligent person to see what's going on. I mean, it's like
Mm-hmm.
you kind of second guess everything that's happening,
Mm-hmm.
and it's how they can expect you to believe something and look and see what's really going on. It's like, what, do you think I'm a moron? I mean, it's almost like that's why I think they're losing respect as far as the presidency. And am I saying that right? I mean, you can't look up to them anymore because they're
Yeah.
not really. It's like a puppet show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they're not really doing the things that they say they're doing. And anyway, so as far as I always grew up with, yeah, U.S. is, not rah rah rah, but I mean, we live in a great country and we pay a lot of taxes and we have a lot of levels of government and it's designed to help us. And go to another country. I've been to Brazil and a few countries where they don't have police, they don't have fire department. They do, but I mean, good luck to getting help if you need it. That's a nice thing about here. If you have a problem, you just call the police, you call the fire department. That's good. But there's a lot of other comforts that are kind of gone with this new administration and this new era of things. The past few years of all the fires and everything. And what have you taken out of that? Of all they defunding the police department, that kind of blew me away when I heard that. But this is all you're born into this, and this is what you're seeing for the first time. What do you think about it all?
Well, growing up for me, the police always, because where I live, there's always cops around, roaming around, seeing. And for me, it wasn't about them protecting. It's like, who's getting in trouble? Like, if there's cops, that means there's trouble. Like, that's how I saw it.
Right.
And
did you feel like they were there helping you, or they were there against you?
More like against. I was always afraid, even though even if I'm not doing anything, like I was like, okay, well maybe they'll stop me for something, like just to stop me, like I don't know.
Or think you're somebody else or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is different because when I was growing up, I liked policemen. I really liked them. They were there to protect me. And I remember they came to school and we would talk to them and everything was cool. And then I can totally see, though, being born 20 years ago or 25 years ago and seeing what's happened the past 5 years. Like, wait a minute, are they my friends? It's like the government. Are they my friends? Who are my friends? You got to kind of be careful who you pick your friends.
Yeah.
But, when we spoke to you earlier, I recently went on a business trip and we're talking about different generations, right? Obviously, mine's different than yours. And then I had lunch with somebody that I used to work with who's early 70s with his wife. So he's a whole nother generation. And I hadn't talked to him in a long time. And his wife was very, very nice, by the way. I enjoyed her company. But he was telling me all these, he was talking about all kinds of racial things with a big smile on his face. He was talking about how he lied in order to beat this other guy at work to win this contest. And at the same time, he talked about this new church that he's going to and how good of a Christian he is. And I'm like, it blew me away. When I first met him, he said who he was, and he said he was a good Christian. And from my experience in my lifetime, good Christians don't tell you they're good Christians. They just are good Christians, right? People who tell you right off the bat that they're good Catholics or good Christians, you better run because they're usually a little sneaky, conniving. And that was the experience I had. And I just was blown away. By the end of lunch, I just couldn't get out of there fast enough because he wasn't like you and I. We were talking about earlier about being genuine. We are who we are, and we're comfortable being that way. And a lot of other people are not that way. You got to kind of, when he starts talking, he's trying to manipulate the conversation to end up with a result that's going to better him. And when you talk to people like that, you can't relax.
Yeah.
You can't. I don't need friends like that. You know what I mean? You need friends. We all work hard. We want friends that'll take us for who we are and not judge us. But anyway, tell me about your friends. Tell me about what you do these days. What's life like? I mean, when I was your age, we went to the mall and we cruised and we had fun. But I don't think you go to the mall.
Yeah, not really. Well, here there's not really malls. I mean, there's State Street. That's
right.
Where whenever I go out with my friends, we're always down State Street.
That's what I did. I went to State Street.
Yeah, so mostly that, but honestly, like I don't really do much. Like just go out with my friends, eat. Me and my friend, I have one friend. She loves cars, so we go to car meets. in Ventura,
Yeah.
and Oxnard, and it's pretty cool, like to see all the different cars and stuff.
What kind of car? Now I have a car I have a '72 Carmen Ghia convertible, and I've been to a couple of them, but they're not like. I used to have a '63 Impala, and those car shows are cool, where they bounce up and
I
down.
love those cars.
Yeah, those are really cool. But the ones that I've gone to a couple of them, and they're all Volkswagen people, old hippies and stuff like that. So, but you're talking about like roadsters, and you're talking about
More the I've seen a lot of BMWs, Corvettes, lots of different cars.
with custom paint and all that kind of
Yeah, the kind of paints, like I've seen some that are like color shifting in the sun. Like sometimes it's like blue, sometimes it's purple. Like those are really pretty.
Did you know that there is a paint, and I haven't seen it yet, but a friend of mine's kid had a Hot Wheel, a little toy car, and if you dipped it in water, it turned color. And I'm like, when are we gonna have that on regular cars?
Yeah.
You might hit it with a hose or something and have like a splash of color.
I've seen that on shoes.
On shoes?
Yeah. It's pretty cool, but
Yeah.
not on, actually maybe on cars, but I haven't, not in person at least.
Yeah, a car, that would be cool. You could make your own design every single day. Shoes, though, I like that. I like the different colored shoes. So that brings you down to LA. You go to the car shows down there, and
I haven't gone to the ones in LA yet, but I do have a cousin that lives by there, and they have really good car shows. Like, I've seen on her stories on Instagram, like that she also takes pictures. Like she has a camera and she likes taking pictures of them. And there's so many nice cars, and they do like drifting and stuff, which is pretty cool.
okay, what's drifting?
Like when you're driving and then have you seen Fast and Furious?
Cruising?
More like, so let's say you go up to like a corner, and then I don't know how to drift, so I'm not gonna explain how, but you like turn in a way where the car's like
Where the tail end slides? Yeah, okay, fishtail.
Yeah,
So that's drifting?
pretty much.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, drifting and stuff like that. And I really like motorcycles, so with the car shows or car meets that I've gone to, there's motorcycles doing like stunts and stuff. So
Do you like choppers?
yeah, I like all types of motorcycles. Like,
Now, what got you into motorcycles? I like motorcycles too.
growing up, I just had a fascination for them, especially in high school. I would just watch like video after video about motorcycles.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
When I was driving, I just drove 7 hours. I was telling you earlier, I drove to Arizona last week, and I love motorcycles. I wouldn't want to be on the freeway though, because I mean they came flying by me, and I could have easily changed lanes and taken one out. It was,
Right.
yeah. So, but as far as even in town, I mean, I'll pull out and I'll see one fly by and flip me off. Going, I'm like, dude, I didn't see you, man.
Yeah, some bikers really kind of have like take advantage of how small the space they have, so they just like go by. But
if I was on a bike, I would be trying to think of what that guy ahead of me is going to do and make sure that I
yeah,
didn't even give him a chance. But the 217 out by the UCSB, you know where that strip is, where a lot of racing goes on. Yeah, a lot of bikes are doing like 200 miles an hour down there.
yeah.
All right, so you like motorcycles. Now, for I'm trying to get in your world. So Instagram, that's big for you. A lot of social media.
Instagram, TikTok.
So that kind of ties you. I mean, I didn't have that in college. So we just kind of, it was all about, it's funny thing about dating. All right, so dating in college, you had to go to a party. You met someone. You took them, out on a date. We didn't have texting. It was just, I just missed that. It was just a few years later. But so is there still dating?
Yeah, well, it's kind of weird at like in this time, because people don't really call it dating. It's like you're talking, or like it's a situationship. Like when you're talking.
Now
yeah.
we're getting somewhere. Okay,
It's
cool.
like,
So is that like getting your Snapchat or something like that, and then?
Yeah, it's like, because I prefer, if someone like wants to date me, I guess I prefer to give them my Snapchat or Instagram rather than my phone number, because I feel like phone numbers are really personal. Like,
Right.
You can get a lot of information about someone just like looking up their phone number.
Why for me, we had to take someone to dinner, and that's how you got to know somebody. Because you didn't talk to them on the phone because you really didn't know them. So I understand what you're saying as far as Snapchat goes.
Yeah.
But just sending them, the IDKs and all the different letters and things, that's kind of a whole other language in itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of fun. So then that leads to meeting up or taking somebody out to dinner or something like that.
Yeah, and then from there just talking pretty much cuz yeah, a lot of people mostly are on their phones, so it's a lot more conversation on like Snapchat or Instagram or whatever, like mostly it's social media. Um
Yeah, everybody's
and
always on their phone.
yeah.
I could say when I went up to it was hard to go up and ask. I mean, I was scared to ask a girl out. Now it'd be so much easier to say, "Hey, can I get your Snapchat?" Because that's
Yeah.
not a real 100% commitment.
Yeah.
She can still give it to you and still kind of give you a chance of maybe liking you versus before it was like yes or no. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, do you want to dance or do you want to that? It was totally different.
Yeah, but it's definitely like a different thing if you ask like for example, if you ask someone to dance, like it's very different than like asking someone Snapchat.
Right. So Snapchat's just social with a little splash of maybe something happening. Right? Yeah, no, I can see that. I can see asking someone to dance, asking somebody out a date. That's more of a commitment, a lot more of a commitment.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the water's been muddied up a little bit, or watered down, I should say, which
Yeah.
is nice. I mean, it takes the fear out of it.
I feel like that's the thing about this generation now is like we're scared of like intimacy or like being too close like too fast because there's a big like kind of like hookup culture like now like people just kind of do their own thing and nobody really cares, but then they're like, oh, can we cuddle or hold hands? Like no. Like,
Right? No, it's all or nothing.
yeah.
It seems like it seems like everybody's on their phone, so you're not at the mall, you're not carousing, you're not developing communication skills. So when it comes to something with feelings, it's oh hell, what do I do? It's either the hookup or Snapchat.
Yeah.
Right? There's not an in between, and I guess asking somebody to dance or asking somebody to dinner kind of helps create those communication skills to lead up to a more of an intimate relationship.
Yeah.
But I like the whole Snapchat. I mean, I don't do that. I don't ask anybody for Snapchat. They'd probably call the police if I did. But anyway, that's cool to know. I can see it. So when somebody comes up to you that you're really not into, and they ask you for Snapchat, you just say sure.
I
Have
honestly,
you ever said no?
I usually give them my Instagram just so I get a follow, but I don't like.
Nice.
I don't really talk to them after that.
You don't interact with them.
No.
So, but they do for a few times, obviously, and then you just kind of they get the picture, they get the idea.
Yeah, some people don't. Some people keep like messaging, and it's like I haven't responded in like a week, so it's
like asking. I remember like dancing or something. You go to a dance club and somebody. If I ask a girl to dance, she says no. I'm not asking her again. But then you see one guy that keeps asking, "Come on, come on. Why would you want to dance with somebody if she said no to you 4 times?"
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
some people don't get it.
Some people don't get it.
Yeah. So and then you see they unfollow you after a while.
Yeah, which is fine. It's like okay.
Yeah, I had a follower for a while.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So what about when you see somebody? Is it easier for a girl to approach somebody else?
It's interesting because now, like, I feel like it's more accepted for girls to go up to guys and ask for their Snapchat, Instagram number, like, to ask them out than it was before.
I think it's accepted for girls to go up to girls to go to guys. Everything's more accepted.
Yeah. But for me, like, I don't really ask, like, just because I get really shy. But I would ask for a friend. Like, if my friend's like, oh, he's really cute, go ask him for me. I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, like when you came on the show the other day, and we just had and you said, afterwards we talked, and you said, look, and I was really scared, and like we both were, because I think it was my first show.
Yeah.
But there was something just really cool about you that I can see where a lot of people would want to get your Snapchats. It's because there's a like a genuineness about you. There's so many people that are being different ways, like the person I had lunch with the other day who was trying to, oh my God, he was everybody but himself, and it wears you out, after a while. You don't want to be around people like that. You want to be around real people.
Yeah.
Even if they're not perfect, it doesn't matter. If the real is real and you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you still have your friends go up and ask other people for you?
I mean, I'm too shy to even tell them.
If you really like somebody, it's hard to do.
Yeah, it is.
No matter what it is, even if it's Snapchat or if a girl asking another girl or a girl asking a guy, or if you like somebody and you have feelings invested, it's hard. It's scary.
Yeah, I feel like it's harder for like queer people. Like if a girl likes another girl, because sometimes you don't know if they're like.
Yeah, I never thought of that. Well, isn't there? But there's kind of an underground. I mean, I've known a couple of people that have certain color nail polish.
Oh yeah.
That's the light orange and the light blue. I mean, that right there, or different shoes. I mean, telltale signs that.
But sometimes you're like, maybe they're just an alley, like.
Or hold on, just a what?
Like maybe they're just supportive, like really supportive.
Right. So if you see another girl looking at you and you think that it might be there, I've done that twice in my life where I've had two different girls. And I would have loved to date them. My friends going, Ben, she's all over you. What are you, stupid? And I'm like, I don't think so, man. And this one guy, this owner of a dealership said, Ben, you're a fool if you don't ask her. I'm like, it's too good to be true. So I asked her out. She goes, well, no, dude, we're friends. And I never saw her again. So you're kind of right inside, even though other people are telling you, hey, man, it's obvious. Go do it.
Yeah.
Twice that's happened to me where I was such an idiot afterwards. And those people I'll never see again.
Yeah.
So I know it's scary.
Yeah.
Unless what do? You just wait for the other person to give you the heads up?
I mean, sometimes there are some like mannerisms, I guess, or sometimes the way they're dressed, because I've seen on TikTok like a bunch of
like the shoes and the thick soles.
Yeah, or like if they cuff their pants.
Excuse me?
If they like go like this to their pants.
Okay, if they cuff them?
Yeah,
that's a sign?
Yeah.
Cool, I like this.
Or if
But you know that the fingernail polish I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like light blue and light orange. That's what I've seen.
Yeah, but it depends. Like it's.
I think
sometimes
it's cool.
You just have to ask.
It's a whole other culture. But if somebody is, like, if there's another girl that's talking to you and she doesn't have any cuffs or fingernails, it's her responsibility to let you know that hey, there's more to that.
Yeah.
Have you ever asked somebody that felt like somebody was there and there wasn't? That'd be kind of devastating. That's kind of a compliment these days to the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly I don't know, cause like I don't really ask because I'm too afraid of being rejected.
I'm with you, man.
So
yep.
Yeah, I don't.
I just wonder how many really good people I've not asked because of them.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, definitely after like if I'm out like with my friends at like a bar or something, and then after a few drinks you get a little more confident, but. Usually,
there's always that alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in Isla Vista. I remember that. We took a couple shots before we even went out. And that's a whole different thing. But, when I say that I think I missed out on, I don't, because I think inside if somebody's interested in you. And even though your brain wants it more than I've had a lot of situations where my brain says, dude, go for it. I mean, and inside's like, dude, just not into it. And I make a fool of myself. Yeah. But I think you absolutely know here. But the culture of that's really cool. The pant roll up and the fingernails and I think it's just the whole thing about the gayness today is one of the really cool things that has come from this culture. Because when I was growing up, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't really known. Yeah. I remember Elton John, right? He was my first concert, and he was the coolest guy in the world. And the way he dressed and the way everything about him was so freaking awesome. And then when he came out, people were so stunned. But I mean, it's like, why were we stunned? I mean, Elton's Elton, and at that moment, it was in the '80s when he came out. But at that moment, that's what I realized. It doesn't matter because we love this dude for everything that he is, and I think those people it really kind of helped change minds, but. Older generations that are kind of stuck in their world, I mean, it's just let them be. Yeah. But I think that's one of the good things that have come out of the past 3 or 4, 5 years.
Yeah, definitely.
With all the fires and all the garbage that's happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're about out of time. How much time do we have? Do we have any comments? We have 3 minutes left. Guys, if you have anything to ask, please let us know. I don't even if anybody's even watching. But we have people that are watching from Germany and France, so it's late at night over there because anyway. So, do you have any questions for me? When you're out and you see somebody like me, I'm not talking about dating, obviously, but when you see somebody like me, do you categorize them as that dude's like not connected, or do you take people as they are individually?
It depends if
it depends if they're acting a certain way.
Yeah, it's if I just see if I saw a picture of you, I would be like, I would guess that you're probably like more close-minded and I don't know, like
more conservative.
More conservative.
Now that you know me a little bit, what do you think?
Completely opposite.
Completely opposite.
Yeah,
that's cool. Well, that's why I had this show,
Mm-hmm.
because I think, we were talking about like you're genuine, and I'm trying to be. We had a comment a while back that they liked the show, it was entertaining, and that Ben was genuine, and that made my whole life. Because that's all I want to be. My mom was the most wonderful lady in the entire world. She was the kindest, most honest, smartest person that'll ever live. Number one, she never said she was a good Christian. She just was.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, that she taught to be yourself, to be genuine, and to be kind. And that's nothing else matters. And when you're that way, your life's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, I appreciate you coming out here and putting up with all this. So we're going to ask you to come back another time, if that's okay.
Sure.
Be part of the show. And you're going to get some fans out there, I'm sure. And some people will see you. So if you see Briana on the street, let her know. Say hi. Anyway, guys, Briana Basulto, I'm Ben Ferguson. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you next time.